Right now, somewhere in this city, a man is losing. Not to another man, not to bad luck. He's losing to himself in a mirror at 6 a.m., staring at a version of his life he never chose but somehow built anyway. 500 years ago, a Florentine exile named Niccolò Machiavelli sat in a cold room, stripped of power, stripped of title, and wrote the most dangerous book ever handed to mankind. Not a book of comfort, a manual for men who refuse to lose. By the time this video ends, something in you will not be the same. Stay until the final law. It's the one that changes everything before it. 1. The Decision and the Fortress. Machiavelli never wrote for comfortable men. He wrote for the ones who made a decision so absolute that reality had no option but to obey it. That decision isn't motivation. Motivation fades by Thursday. This is finality. It's a door closing somewhere deep inside a man where no one else is allowed to stand. The man who has already decided he will not lose doesn't ask the room for permission. He built the outcome in private long before he ever walked through the door. He didn't wait to be chosen. He decided, and the world rearranged itself around that decision because it had no other move. Machiavelli understood something most men never grasp. An unshakable mind isn't born. It's laid brick by brick, in rooms where nobody is clapping, on nights where nobody is watching, in the exact moments a man could have quit and chose not to. Ordinary men wait for the right moment. They wait for the right conditions, the right resources, the right permission slip from a life that never issues one. And while they wait, the dangerous man has already rehearsed disaster in his head 100 times, so that when it finally arrives, it feels like an old friend instead of an ambush. Machiavelli called this raw capacity vert, not virtue like the priests preach in Sunday sermons, but force. Unapologetic, engineered force. The capacity to bend fortune before fortune has the chance to bend you first. He wrote that fortune behaves like a flooding river. It destroys the towns that never built defenses and spares the ones that dug their trenches in the dry season, long before the clouds ever gathered. Your discipline is the trench. Your silence is the mortar. Your standards are the wall. Every comfortable choice you made this year removed a brick from your own fortress without you even noticing the weight was gone. Every time someone's passing opinion redirected your path, a crack opened in the foundation, and you called it flexibility instead of what it actually was. Machiavelli would call that a failure of vert, a man handing his fortune to forces outside himself, because building his own defenses felt like too much work on a Tuesday. But the man watching this right now isn't here by accident. Something in him is already tired of being movable, tired of being predictable, tired of being the man that life happens to instead of the man engineering what happens next. Construction resumes today, and this time, it doesn't stop. 2. Silence that commands. Detachment that protects. There's a weapon most men will die without ever discovering, because using it demands the one thing they can't stomach: restraint. Machiavelli watched princes fall not because they said too little, but because they said too much. Every unnecessary sentence is a leak in the hull. Every overshare is a door left wide open for an enemy who is only ever looking for an entry point. He wrote that a ruler must carry the lion's roar and the fox's quiet cunning in the same body. The lion frightens the wolves at the gate. The fox recognizes the traps hidden in the grass before a single paw touches them. Silence is the fox. It studies without announcing that it's studying. It waits without appearing to wait at all. The man Machiavelli studied speaks only when words serve a clear purpose. He lets silence carry the weight in a room, and he watches lesser men rush to fill the quiet, exposing their fears, their needs, their hand, all without a single question ever being asked of them. People cannot manipulate a man they cannot read. People cannot destabilize a man whose calm they cannot explain. But silence alone isn't enough. Machiavelli also warned every ruler about the same fatal flaw that quietly destroys otherwise capable men, loving an outcome too much. The prince, too, attached to one path, one alley, one version of the future, is already compromised before the first crisis even lands. When fortune shifts, and Machiavelli knew it always shifts, that attached man shatters under the weight of what he refuses to release, while everyone around him watches the collapse in real time. This isn't about feeling nothing. Machiavelli never asked for numbness. He asked for distance, a gap between what a man feels and what a man does. A gap wide enough and disciplined enough that no provocation, no manipulation, no well-timed betrayal can collapse it in a single moment. Every person who has ever used your own emotions as a weapon against you found the thread only because you handed it to them first, usually without realizing you'd done it. Machiavelli's ideal ruler values without worship. He connects without dependence. He walks away from anything that no longer serves his direction, without drama, without a performance of grief staged for an audience that was never going to remember it anyway. No one gets the access code to your mind uninvited. Not anymore. 3. The long game. And the mask. Weak men want the crown before they've bled a single drop for it. Machiavelli watched kingdom after kingdom collapse because a prince optimized for the next 12 months instead of the next 12 years, chasing applause instead of architecture. Patience in Machiavelli's world is not passivity. Passivity waits and hopes for conditions to improve on their own. Machiavelli's patience waits and builds, brick by brick, while the passive man is still refreshing his notifications for a sign that never comes. The patient man studies terrain quietly. He maps the weaknesses of everyone circling him, not to gossip about them, but to position himself exactly where power is destined to flow, before anyone else even notices the current shifting beneath their feet. That frustration you're carrying right now, the sense that nothing is moving fast enough, that the world hasn't noticed your effort yet, that feeling is simply the entry fee for the long game. Every great man in history paid it in full, in silence, while everyone else around him slept comfortably through the exact hours that built his advantage. The lion doesn't chase every animal across the field. He conserves his strength, studies his target at a distance, and moves once, with total commitment and devastating precision. But timing and patience alone don't protect a man's plans. Machiavelli understood that the world does not deserve full access to who you are, what you want, and what you're quietly building toward. That's where the mask comes in. He wrote it without flinching. The prince must know how to use both the man and the beast reason when reason works, ruthlessness when it doesn't, and the mask is the mechanism that lets both live inside the same body, without the world ever knowing which one it's actually dealing with in any given moment. Most men walk around with no mask at all. Every emotion visible on their face like a headline. Every insecurity broadcast through their tone and their posture. And then they wonder why they keep getting outmaneuvered by men who appear to do less, yet always seem to end up with more. The mask isn't dishonesty. It's the disciplined curation of what the world is permitted to see. Because perception is power, and Machiavelli knew that the man who authors his own story controls the room before he's even stepped inside it. Behind that mask, though, is where the real audit happens. Ruthless self-honesty. No performance, no audience to impress. Just a man measuring himself against a standard he set for no one but himself. You are no longer an open book. That chapter just closed for good. 4. The enemies you don't see. And the pressure that forges you every man ever destroyed wasn't destroyed by the enemy he was watching closely. He was destroyed by the one he dismissed entirely, the one who smiled too warmly, who agreed too easily, who never once raised his voice in opposition. Machiavelli spent his sharpest thinking not on obvious rivals, but on flatterers. He called flattery one of the deadliest forces a ruler could ever face, because it poisons the one instrument a man needs most to survive: his judgment. Feed a man only what he wants to hear, and eventually he starts navigating an entire life by a map that was never real to begin with. Machiavelli named these hidden threats, the neutrals, men more dangerous than declared enemies, because a declared enemy at least shows you exactly where to place your guard. The neutral shows you a face engineered specifically to lower it, and then he simply waits for the right moment to collect. The disciplined man isn't paranoid about this. He simply watches. He notices when a story shifts slightly between two different tellings. He never reveals what he's noticed, because a known false ally, kept close and fed carefully, is worth far more strategically than one exposed and removed too soon. And once a man learns to see clearly, Machiavelli believed the next test was never about people at all. It was about pressure itself. Every man you've ever admired was forged in something that would have quietly ended an ordinary man. Machiavelli watched rulers crumble under pressure, and he watched others transform completely inside that same pressure. And the difference was never talent, timing, or luck. It was each man's private relationship with hardship. The average man treats pressure as an intruder, something to escape, medicate, or complain about until it eventually passes. The dangerous man converts it instead. Betrayal becomes sharper instinct. Failure becomes more precise strategy. Every humiliation becomes fuel that burns cold and controlled for years, without ever flickering out in public. Machiavelli believed fortune tests men specifically to separate the ones who merely want power from a comfortable distance from the ones actually built to carry its full weight. Fortune isn't punishing you right now, no matter how it feels at 2 a.m. She's interviewing you. Every sleepless night is a stone in a foundation the rest of the world hasn't seen yet, and won't until it's already finished. 5. The code. And the world that bends eventually. Every serious man stops collecting advice from every direction and starts living by a code, not one inherited from his surroundings without question, but one he personally forged from his own failures, his own losses, his own long nights of rebuilding. Machiavelli's entire philosophy rests on this single premise: a man governed by clear, fixed principles moves through chaos with a precision that looks almost supernatural to everyone watching from the outside. Not because he possesses secret information they don't have access to, because he possesses clarity they've never bothered to build for themselves. His code carries 3 unbending lines. He never negotiates his own standards, because Machiavelli watched one exception quietly become a pattern. One pattern slowly harden into a character, and one character eventually calcify into a destiny the man never consciously chose but assembled anyway, one small compromise at a time. He competes only with the man he was yesterday, because comparison to others hands your entire sense of progress to a moving target you will never fully control, no matter how far ahead or behind you actually are. And he never acts from desperation, because desperation is visible to everyone in the room, and visibility is vulnerability. He builds reserves in advance, financial, emotional, strategic. Specifically so, he always negotiates from surplus and never from fear of what happens if the answer is no. Underneath all 3 lines sits the one law Machiavelli would recognize instantly, the one that quietly holds the entire code together. He has already decided he will not lose, not because the world guaranteed him victory, not because the odds were ever favorable, or the timing convenient, or the people around him particularly believing in what he was building in silence, but because that decision lives in a place so deep inside him that no external force has ever found it, and no external force ever will. Everything spoken across this video was never just information. It was a mirror, held up to a version of you that already exists somewhere beneath the noise, beneath the doubt, beneath every year spent being told to shrink, to soften, to make yourself easier for a comfortable world to digest without effort. Machiavelli never promised the powerful man an easy life. He promised him a real one, built by his own hands, governed by his own code, forged in the exact silence most men are too afraid to sit inside for more than a few uncomfortable minutes. That silence is where you're standing right now, whether you've noticed it yet or not. The world bends to the man who has already decided. Not eventually, not only on his good days, always, because that man isn't waiting for permission, for perfect conditions, or for some improved future version of himself to finally show up and start the work. He's already moving right now in this exact silence with everything he has left to give. Drop "I have decided" below and mean every letter of it. If Machiavelli's mind just rearranged something inside yours, subscribe, because the next lesson pulled straight from the prince goes even deeper than this one. And the fortress you're building is nowhere near finished yet. Here's a standalone 400-word closing you can swap in for the final CTA. Understand what just happened. You didn't watch a video. You sat across from Niccolò Machiavelli himself, 5 centuries removed, and he handed you the same counsel he once whispered to princes who held entire cities in the palm of their hand. Most men will watch this, feel something shift for 11 minutes, and then walk straight back into the same soft patterns that kept them small in the first place. They'll call it a good video. They'll scroll to the next one. And by tomorrow, the fortress they almost started building will already be forgotten rubble. You are not going to be that man. You already know it, because you're still here, reading this sentence instead of closing the tab 3 minutes ago like the version of you that hasn't decided yet. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince so it could be admired. He wrote it so it could be used. A code left unused is just decoration. A philosophy left unapplied is just entertainment. The difference between the men who transform and the men who stay exactly where they are was never intelligence, and it was never luck. It was whether they closed the tab and did nothing, or whether they let the decision actually take root. So here's the smallest, most Machiavellian move available to you right now, the one that costs nothing and signals everything. Hit that like button. Not for me, for the algorithm that decides whether the next man standing at his own mirror at 6 a.m., losing to himself, ever gets the chance to sit across from Machiavelli the way you just did. Subscribe, because this channel exists for one purpose only: to keep handing you the cold, uncomfortable, unglamorous truths that the rest of the internet is too afraid to say out loud. Turn on notifications, because the next breakdown of The Prince goes further than this one did, into territory most men never get shown at all. The fortress is still under construction. The mask still needs sharpening. The code still has lines left to write, and none of it finishes here. Drop "I have decided" one more time below, not as a comment, but as a record. A year from now, you'll come back and read it, and you'll know exactly which day everything actually changed.